Hello and welcome to another episode of RealmCast, an original podcast from Minor Realm Games where we talk about all things tabletop role-playing gaming. Thank you all so much for your support over Twitter and Twitch, watching us game our original module Clock Strike Zero every other Sunday, as well as tuning into all of the charity games we've been able to run this month. Hopefully by the time you're all hearing this broadcast, we've broken our $3,000 milestone. For charities in tune of Black Lives Matter, as well as Pride Month, Twitch Community Pride Month, supporting the Trevor Project. You guys rock. Thank you for all of your support. We have a really cool show lined up for you today. I'm a Pittsburgh native and resident. Dave lives in Pittsburgh now. We're definitely both music heads, having played in bands around the Pittsburgh area over the years. I came in contact with these folks years back when I caught them at a show. Dave had his first experience watching this group, I think just 2 years or so ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Fantasy D&D metal rockers Dethlehem are joining us today, and we are just absolutely fired up to have them on the show. Do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hello. I'm Brutalitus the Bloodbeard here.
Hey, this is Grimshaw Longfellow.
Yeah, it's Grimshaw.
From Dethlehem.
Yeah, we've got two of the warriors at Dethlehem here for you guys today.
This is already fantastic.
What's so funny, Grimshaw? I don't know what you're laughing at.
Do you just sort of want to open up, tell us a little bit about the band? Perhaps I think we have 2/4 of the band here with us today, right?
Yes, I think so. Half-ish. We've got a new we've got a new member that we are gonna announce at our CD, our album release show thing that's online.
You heard that exclusively right
exclusive,
here.
Yes, that is an exclusive. That's an exclusive
it's a hot drop for this podcast.
Yep. But yeah, Brutalis the Bloodbeard. I'm lead Warcry, aka that means vocals, I think, to you guys. Why don't you go ahead and Grimshaw, do your thing.
Yeah, I'm Grimshaw Longfellow. I am the resident ranger, and I was raised by rats and found by these guys. And they kindly let me join their party so they could make fun of me as we do quests.
Yeah, he's pretty much the guy we send in. He scouts and gets in danger first, that kind of thing. So
right.
And then we just kind of laugh about it later.
And any kind of really bad work, they usually send me in first to do that. Cooking, cleaning, and cleaning up shit.
Yeah, he's not good at it, but we don't want to do it.
What's a ranger for if not that?
Right, exactly.
Well, I want to go ahead and I want to let you guys basically use this as a platform to talk about all of the awesome stuff that you have coming up. I know that you have a new album coming out very soon, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the release plans amidst kind of a crazy time right now for everybody that's putting out entertainment, especially those that thrive on live entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about your plans for that. Let's talk about some of the content of the record. Let's just get right into it, if that's all right.
Yeah. So, this album was a long time coming. 5 years we released our last album, Destroyers of the Realm. And that was a whole ordeal that not a lot of people know about, but that was really difficult to actually get done.
Yeah. Speaking outside of the fantasy realm stuff, that we seem to always run into a lot of actual problems.
Some actual real life problems.
Failing real life saving throws.
Yes, yep.
Right.
The roles, whoever's, rolling for us, not doing the greatest of jobs.
Right. So, just coming off of Destroyers and, getting those music videos and things done, and then just continuing to play shows, we started kind of writing the next album, which is now Maelstrom of the Elmer Dragon. So that process was long because we do, in Dethlehem land, we do everything ourselves.
Yeah. We only really outsource stuff like to super cool people who can illustrate stuff really well. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Drinking some ale here on this fine Sunday, and so Yeah, Maelstrom of the Emerald Dragon is our latest tale. It took a while. We were in the dungeon for forever. I don't know if you saw the video leading up to it, but we had to do some additional quests to even get the release date. But we're really looking forward to it. We put a ton of time and effort into it. We think it's definitely. I personally think it's our coolest and best quest to date. We fought an Emerald Dragon, so inherently that's already pretty awesome. But yeah, it's done. We had some help from the Warriors of Kickstarter, so we absolutely love those guys, and our fans and our party and our warrior crew really came through for us. And it helped us do a lot of really cool things that we normally wouldn't be able to do because we're not the biggest of bands, but we do really like to go all in when we can. So we've got vinyls coming out. We've got a bestiary that's all illustrated and it's got the lyrics in it and it kind of outlines the quest. We've got the theatrical interludes. We've got what else? Stickers, patches, the whole shebang. Basically, really an epic epic loot drop.
Yeah. This loot drop is definitely one of the best. From this bestiary that is, and these are going to the people who have been so kindly and the people, our Kickstarter people. Sorry. So they're getting this package, for the certain reward that includes this bestiary that is phenomenal. One of the best things, that we've done for an album.
Yeah, and shout out to my brother-in-law, my warrior brother-in-law. He's a what is his class? I forget. He's like a warlock, I guess, mixed with a not quite a bard, but he's got some bard attributes. Nick Rocco. So thanks for illustrating all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think that once the album comes out, we'll probably have a downloadable bestiary.
Yeah, the PDF will be. You'll get a PDF. I've heard that's what it's called.
That's
when you download it from Bandcamp. Yeah.
So when can we expect to be able to listen to and see this bestiary that you guys are talking about? I know I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the bestiaries are finished. They're printed. They're going to be sent out to the Kickstarter backers, and I think we'll have a couple left over. We have a couple left over right now. So if you order any of that stuff on Bandcamp, we'll throw it in. We'll see. But we've got some left over. Any digital downloads from Bandcamp will get it. That being said, it'll also be able to stream it on Spotify and Google Music and Apple and all those basically anywhere you can stream music, we'll have it.
Awesome.
So what is it? July 17th is the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
7/17.
7/17.
Oh, nice. Right around the corner.
This was supposed to be when we were going to do our actual show. Like, it was going to be a live show.
Right, yeah. So, the plague across the land is preventing us from playing, live shows. But yeah, so we have something really special in store, though. I don't know how much we want to give away, but we filmed some things. And basically, the whole album is going to have kind of like a digital event associated with it. So it's free. It's just, on our Facebook page. I think it's starting at 7:30. Eastern time.
Yeah. So this whole, like a lot of bands are groups, parties are doing lately, are these online kind of events, and we kind of followed suit, but we did it in a really special way, I think. So on July 17th, it's going to be it's going to be live / kind of pre-recorded event. That's going to be the entire album, and in true Dethlehem fashion, it's not just the music. There's going to be skits, a special announcement, regarding our newest member, and a lot of silliness and jokes. And
no, we don't joke.
It's all serious.
Very serious. How dare you?
No laughing loud.
Yeah, this.
I can't believe it.
I saw a lot of the artwork thus far that you guys have released online, and my gosh, is it just awesome? I mean, it's just incredible. I was getting envious, and it's really cool to know that there's a whole visual and sort of multimedia component to this. It's a whole experience. It's not just a record, is what I'm getting.
So I'm just gonna be normal here now. I think.
I was wondering how long you keep that up.
I can only do that for so long.
Dude, I can't do that for more than like a second.
You didn't even do it for 1 second.
I was gonna be like, dude, just get out of it already. Can we talk about what's actually
we
happening?
But yeah, we really like putting together like the whole package. In my real life career, I'm a designer and stuff, and we're lucky to have a lot of talent, like different kind of basically anything a band would ever need. If like from outside sources, we kind of have internally, like our drummer does videography, so he films everything, and like I design all this stuff, and then like we really only kind of outsource illustration. And we got like I said, my brother-in-law, Nick Rocco, drew a ton of stuff. And then we got a local guy in Pittsburgh, Joe Mruck, who has done tons of things. He's awesome, and he always treats us really well. So check him out. I think it's Red Buffalo Illustration.
Yeah, he did the album cover.
He did the album like artwork.
Awesome.
So
Yeah,
Awesome.
And usually, we do that stuff ourselves, but we just love his artwork, so we got him to do it.
yeah, we're not the best at drawing, basicí, is what it is. But everything else we kind of do ourselves.
But all the assets, like all the online assets and stuff like that, Jeff does. He does a really, really great job at that.
That's me, Brutalitus.
Sorry, Daltas does that. Rick, our guitar player, who's a mad genius on guitar, basically writes the songs and help. We all help, but he's the riff master. Buddy Grimshaw, and JT, the drummer, recorded all of the songs for both Destroyers and for Maelstrom of the Emerald Dragon, which is the new album.
Yeah, we do it all in house. It's pretty cool. We were initially, when we did the Kickstarter, we weren't sure how much we were going to get, and we ended up getting basically a little bit more than double.
Oh, wow.
Which was awesome. So instead of, the original plan was to go record vocals professionally, but then we were like, wait a minute,
we could just buy a really expensive
we just
mic.
bought a nice mic, so now we never have to worry about that again. And so now we're really set up, I think, and we have some cool ideas for the future for sure. We're one of the Kickstarter goals was to do a movie.
Yep.
So that's kind of the next thing we're going to focus on after this. And that'll kind of be released for free online, but I'm sure we'll get like physical copies, a couple printed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if we're able to play shows, by the time that's out, I'm sure we will be. I'm sure we'll do something around that too.
Yeah. So like what we're going to plan on doing after we kind of finish wrapping up with this album, not only this live event, but we have a couple music video ideas that are going to be really cool that we actually can't speak about, but one's going to be
one
amazing.
is one is going to be really cool. I'll give you
I was going to say, is this the appropriate time to drop Keep Your Secrets?
Yeah. So I'll just leave it at this. We played a show maybe like 2 years ago. It was pretty random at like a Hard Rock Cafe.
Oh God!
But it was with Oakley Dokley, which was cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They are the Ned Flanders
Yes.
themed
Oh
band.
yeah.
So believe it or not, every time a themed band comes through, we get asked to play with them just because,
I have no idea why.
Yeah, I can't imagine why that would be the case. But so we played the show with them, and this guy in the crowd came up to us. He was like, "Oh my God, I love you guys, blah, blah, blah. I want to make a video for you." And we were like, "Okay, cool." And, I started talking to him, and I found out that he worked at Marvel and he did all this really cool shit. And he's making us a music video, and I'm just going to kind of leave it at that.
It's so
awesome.
Cool.
He doesn't work at Marvel anymore, but they still outsource him because
that's gonna be probably most likely after the initial release.
But it's coming along. But
the point is
cool.
So after all this really cool stuff, because this is a big deal for us. Getting this album out, this has been 4 years of work. It's been a lot. So we're all really, really happy with it. But after we do all the things that we want to get accomplished with this, next is the movie.
Right.
Which will come probably, and we're speaking about this now, probably with actually for a couple more songs.
Yeah, we're kind of kicking around the idea that the movie will have almost like an EP with it, but we'll see how that goes. Shit changes so much that it's, that's the idea right now, but until we actually start it, we'll see. But I think internally we're just set up in a way that recording is much easier now. So that was kind of when we did Destroyers, the previous album, it was a lot more difficult, and then the previous two prior to that, I wasn't in the band yet, but
we're just really fortunate that we have all this stuff at our disposal. Like, we can make music videos, we could create assets, we can record stuff, and we've been basically doing that for 10 years, or not us two. But the band has been
I guess we're the
10
two
years.
newest, even though I've been in the band for like 8 years at this point.
It's really funny, and Jeff knows this, but Dethlehem had their first show 10 years ago, or 11 years ago now, I think, in a basement of some punk rock house, and I was actually at that show. I saw Bethlehem's first show. Yeah.
I mean, I opened for Dethlehem in a band that I played in once. So,
yeah. And the story of us, Dethlehem is I like to think of Dethlehem as more of like an art collective. That we have people that are kind of part of the family that aren't even in the band, and are even getting reintroduced basically back into the band.
Yeah. So, weird story. So the band started as a joke, believe it or not.
Yeah, and it's still a joke. Don't let us fool you.
It's totally a joke. We love, but like the music part is serious, but everything else is not. And like it was always meant to be like a satire, but then we ended up getting like brought onto like these like gaming conventions and stuff where like a bunch of people were dressed up. So that, even though that is still 100% part of it, it kind of like got lost a little bit when we would play those shows. But it started as a joke, and I guess a bunch of people really thought it was funny, and then they kept doing it. And then, I joined the band a little later because the lead singer at the time, Brian, aka Lord Bone Crush, they were talking about
Quest Giver.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were talking about going on tours and stuff, and he's just like, I don't think I could do that. Like, I'm going to take... And meanwhile, we went on like 2 tours. It wasn't even like that much. But oddly enough, I ended up becoming like best friends with him. So
and they look exactly the same.
We look similar. We actually used to work together and stuff too. It's really weird how it all worked out. And he is basically still part of the band. He's the guy who does like the Quest Giver stuff now. He does all the narration of like the interludes, and he's always in every video. So he didn't really leave. He's just...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's still a part of the family. Like, he
got a different role now.
Right.
Yeah.
So whenever you see this, these videos coming out on July 17th, you'll see the Quest Giver, and that is our really, really good friend Brian Urban, and he is just basically a part of the band, just a different role. But
he was promoted from party to game master.
Yeah, pretty much. So
it's true. Yeah, he's basically our DM. That's what we think about it. Like, he's the one giving us our quests, and the way that we kind of portray ourselves live has changed over the years, and what we really like kind of how we have it set up now, where he's the quest giver and like we're doing these quests.
Yeah, he's like hype man, but then he'll also like do vocals sometimes live with us too, just because one, he wrote the first 2 album songs, so he knows them all, and then like 2, it's just like cool to get that dynamic on stage where it's like you get a little bit of extra like oomph on some parts and things. So
my story is kind of weird. Like I kind of just like made myself a part of Dethlehem. Like, I always knew of these guys, and then they needed a merch person for a couple tours, and it was just a random Facebook post that our drummer made, and I replied, and it was like for the next week. I called off work for the next week and went on tour, never really knowing any of these guys, and just for like 2 years just did merch for Dethlehem.
Yeah,
wow.
And then the bass player quit. For reasons that we won't get into. And I'm actually a drummer, and they're basically like, hey, you play drums, you probably have rhythm, you play bass now. I never picked up a bass guitar in my life. And learned how to play bass just to be in Dethlehem. So here awesome. I am like 6 years later.
Yeah, it ended up working out. And it's just... Yeah. But no, we're super psyched with the new album. I'm really proud of it. We all put a lot of time and effort into it. We all went through a lot of stuff to even just get to this point. So it's nice to have it all like physically printed and done. And I can like we personally have the vinyls already. So like it was cool to like physically put that on the record player and like spin it. So
there's so much work in this album. It's incredible because we didn't go to a studio. Like I looked at screens, in my recording software for hundreds of hours, just like mixing a little bit, recording every single guitar part, like putting in different orchestrations, and we're just so happy it's out. And
yeah, I can't wait. So we really hope that this event goes well. I think it'll be really cool. And right now, I think we've got kind of a little over 100 or so people RSVP'd, but please check that out on Facebook. It's free. If at the very least pop in. If you think we're stupid, you can leave and no one will know.
Yeah. You don't have to have that awkward moment where you watch somebody actively walk out of your show. So
right, yeah.
And physically leave.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like if you come to a show, one of the best compliments I've ever got was from people who just don't like metal at all, but they were like, "Well, I had a ton of fun because you guys are goofy and like it was entertaining." And so I think even though we are like this weird like subgenre, like melodic death metal, I don't know, LARP shit. I don't even know how to explain it. But like we are like, you could get into weird subgenres and stuff if you're that guy, but I just like to say we're like metal or like death metal because we have like the, the guttural vocals. But
I mean, it's for people who don't like to take themselves too seriously. Like that's when people get the joke, they get it.
Yeah.
But when they don't,
Right. But I like to think that most people, when they see us live, they had a good time and they're like, that was ridiculous. And,
yeah.
Well, I know that Dave and I can certainly attest to that. I've probably seen, 5, 6, maybe 7 Dethlehem shows over the years.
Wow.
And every single time I have somebody that's standing around me, and they're in a group I came with, or somebody that I ran into, and they're like, "Have you ever seen these guys?" I said, "You want to stick around for the next, you'll want to be here in front of this stage for the next 20 minutes."
Do you remember any of the specific shows by chance?
You know what? One of the most recent times that I saw you guys, I've been living in Washington D.C. now for about a year, and the time I can think back to most frequently was when Bit Brigade came to Pittsburgh. I think in 2018.
Yeah.
And that was a really fun show. I remember you guys crushed that night.
We love those shows.
Yeah.
Just from playing those conventions, the Bit Brigade guys have been, friends of ours. And every time they come to Pittsburgh, I get an email from their guitar player like, "Hey man, come to town. Can you help us out?" We're like, "Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let's play a show." But cool, man. Yeah. Those shows are probably some of the best that we had recently.
We had another one booked, but obviously, that's
plague.
not happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this sort of spawned out of playing Dungeons and Dragons and getting into the tabletop stuff. Do you guys still play at all?
Honestly, no. I would say that we play a ton of video games through all of us. I mean, we're still super nerdy. The drummer and I think even Urban at some point played D&D.
I know Rick Bovice, our guitar player, and JT Brom, our drummer, definitely like are more into D&D than Buddy and I are. But at the same time, like I've played it before. I lean more into like the tabletop stuff and definitely the gaming stuff. Like I have like a million games on Steam.
Oh, we should probably. They even have Urban and Jeff have a stream actually called the Cream Team.
It's a separate thing, but yes,
which is really cool. But gaming and nerd culture and everything has been a huge part of Dethlehem, and that never really goes away. The whole D&D thing, it came out of the beginnings of Dethlehem and the whole joke behind it, and But we're not playing. I saw one of the questions that you had for us, and we're not playing our campaigns live.
I wish we had the idea to like rent a cabin for like a weekend and play through like a campaign and write songs around it, but it just never happened. So I mean, that's also something we could do in the future. But that's honestly like we're like mid-30s. We all have careers. I just don't have the time to really do it. So that's why I lean into the tabletop stuff like way more because it's like you play for 3 or 4 hours one night. You set up a thing.
Yeah, but that's not to say that our albums aren't a campaign.
Oh yeah,
they
totally.
They definitely very much are. Yeah,
they're like that's our version almost of D&D. Like they very much are a linear campaign. And when you get these bestiaries and read through it, it reads like a book. Like you'll be able to follow it really easily.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to study the content front to back a couple times and then corral you guys onto Twitch to play one of the sessions out.
Oh, that would be cool.
I would be really into that.
Yeah, we're down.
Have, gelatinous cubes and mind flayers and
mimics.
Yeah,
this one definitely leans way more into the D&D stuff. This album,
Sure.
the last one, it was kind of like my first time at like writing these super nerdy lyrics, so I just like leaned into stuff I already knew about. So it's got like a lot of like Castlevania-y things going on, and we have a song called "The Dark Tower," which is 100% related to the book series and like that kind of stuff. So and I definitely have like a bunch of really weird references in there. Yeah. But like this time, since I'm way more comfortable with it and I'm way more into it. I really leveraged the whole, like, why do we have a song about a mind flayer? Like, where's the mimics at? Like, what happened? Gelatinous Cube? I can say this in a song? Yeah. I'm going to say it like 30 times. Let's go.
It's not a secret at this point because the track listing is out there. But, like, yeah, we have a song called Mind Flayer. We have a song called Gelatinous Cube. We have a song called Beware the Mimic. So, like, all of these are in.
Mind Flayer is actually out. You can already listen to that one. So we released that one a little early just because of the whole COVID stuff. And we ended up, if you bought it on Bandcamp, we would match your donation up to like $100, and we ended up donating like $200 towards like a
for the relief
fund.
Awesome.
We also did like a Black Lives Matter thing. I forget exactly what we did for that. It was something similar, like any of the proceeds from
it was another Bandcamp day.
So we like doing that too. This is definitely it's not our job. We do it because we love doing it, and it's fun, and it's like this creative outlet. And we're fortunate that we've gotten to do like anywhere near like the amount of stuff like playing MagFest is really probably our pinnacle, because we played in front of like thousands of people at that show, and it's just super fun, and it's like this great I don't know, it's just this
you would never have every time that we do a video where we're all with each other, we laugh harder than we like. It's such a blast, like for me personally, I rarely go back and watch the videos that recreate, because I know that we just had so much fun creating them that it doesn't matter like what people think about it,
Yeah, you don't have to try to relive that memory because it's yours,
Yeah.
Also, some of them are really weird.
They're real weird, yeah.
I can attest to that. I've seen a couple, and they are hilarious, but they are...
Don't watch the Oathbound video.
Yeah.
I cannot watch that video still.
At the time, it was like, this is hilarious.
We were laughing so hard, but then we're like, oh shit, we're going to put that out?
We're like, yeah, what the hell does this have to do with Dungeons and Dragons or anything?
And our drummer, JT, is like, oh yeah, dude, it's so funny. I'm like, oh.
Speaking of your drummer, I gotta ask, because I dabble and play a little bit by myself. How long did it take him to because he wears a closed helmet for the listeners that might not know?
Legit, yeah.
Yeah. So how long did it take him to actually get used to that and whatnot?
He said it didn't, because I asked him this because I knew he's on vacation right now with his girlfriend in Florida, but he said it didn't really take him that long, surprisingly. It was more like, I guess, getting used to just the weight throughout the set. But but even when he practices, he can just close his eyes to kind of get used to it.
Yeah, he's had the same kind of setup on his drums for a long time, just a 4-piece, drum kit. So he knows exactly what a toms. He hasn't even changed.
Right, it's just that muscle memory.
Yeah, he hasn't even changed the size of his toms, since he's got new kits and everything. The main thing I think for him, and I'm a drummer as well, is just having, because it's really heavy. It's an actual metal.
It looks
kind of
thing.
It's not foam. It's
I've put it on and it just smashes my nose, and I'm like, how? But I would never wear this.
He has some padding, and he takes it off between songs sometimes, especially if it's super hot. Because he's had some close calls. I remember when we ever did the Destroyers CD release show, he said that he almost passed out on the last song.
Yeah, I mean, I've thrown up several times on stage.
Yeah, dude, Jeff. We had a stint of shows, 2 shows in a row. Jeff threw up on stage.
Well, the one I was sick. Okay, so I threw up straight pink Pepto-Bismol, and the other time it was just I was just going ham. Believe it or not, it's very hot in armor and leather and all this crap.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, it's brutal, man.
Anybody out there that's super concerned right now with excess CO2 consumption, just look to Brahm playing a 30-minute set on drums in the heat. I mean, goodness gracious.
For the listeners who aren't aware, think the Black Knight from Monty Python, that style helmet, it's huge and
I mean, it's really heavy. And he wears it. He's never had a show where he didn't wear it.
And he added lights into it too, which I can only imagine makes it harder to see.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but it looks so badass.
Yeah, it does look sweet.
It's really cool. Yeah, no, it's cool, and he doesn't have a problem with it anymore. It's like second nature to him.
Oh right, yeah. It's like when I first joined, I was like, oh, I need to help. Someone needs to help me get dressed.
We had a really
like.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. The whole thing
and now I'm like, come here, strap me in.
We have to help you. The pre-show rituals are really funny. Because like everyone has their job,
Yeah, I had to buy basically a giant hockey bag to carry all my stuff in it because I was like, how am I gonna get this place?
And there's certain people who like strap the other end better.
Yeah,
like JT does the best at helping Jeff with his costume.
He does. Like, you guys don't strap it in hard enough.
I don't strap it. I can't strap your belt tight enough.
We've talked a little bit about some of the Bit Brigade shows in Pittsburgh. I know you guys mentioned MagFest is probably one of your top most memorable experiences, creating the videos and the content. What other stories do you look back on over the years that's just like, wow, that goes down in Dethlehem history as one of the most fun or memorable times we've ever spent together?
Jeff and I were talking about this briefly before this, and we have some crazy stories. And
we have some that
probably can't talk about. So here's the thing: we'll tell one story, but like anytime that we've been on the road, stuff happens every day that are all inside jokes we laugh about all the time. Because we've been with each other for almost a decade now, so like we have all these shared memories. And probably one of the scariest moments that we've had, we decided that we would tell this story.
Okay.
We are on like a 2-week tour and just coming back. We had a show in Philadelphia the night before and driving home. Did you want to? Well, I actually don't know your perspective on this.
Well, I was way in the back, and I was just not paying attention at all.
Okay.
And then, so we're just driving in the Dethlehem, which RIP, pour one out, Dethlehem. We no longer have it. So we're driving, and I'm just not paying. I'm like on my phone or like playing a video game or something. I don't know. Just, stuff you do to kill time when you're traveling. And all of a sudden, our drummer is driving. It's like, oh my God. And just this loudest bang you've ever heard in your life. We're all just like, what just happened? Like swearing and stuff. Like, oh my God. And the whole front windshield is shattered.
Ooh.
And
driving on the on the highway.
Yeah, we're going, I don't know, 65, 70. Like, we got a trailer, so we're going a little bit slower, but so we pull off to the side, and he's like, dude, this hawk just like smashed straight into the windshield out of nowhere. Yeah, and it was just like, and I remember looking up and like seeing it a little bit. Yeah, we were like, what was it thinking? Like, did it think it could like?
Yeah,
it rolled a nat one on its evade.
It definitely did. Yeah.
So I was sitting. I remember this so distinctly. I was sitting right behind the drummer who usually drives, and I was just kind of daydreaming, like looking out the window. And we go over this under this underpass, whatever. And then I'm just like kind of like thinking and daydreaming, and then I see this like really beautiful hawk. In my mind, I was like, oh, what a nice hawk. And it's just like, and I was like, oh, that's so like, and I had this like surreal moment almost, and then it just makes a left turn super sharp. It goes straight for the drummer's face. I saw the entire thing happen. Almost as in slow motion. And the funny part about this story, and it's not typically like, it's not really one of our other stories that we have that make us laugh super hard, but there's going to be a song in the next album that was dedicated.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out lyrics to it because it just wasn't enough content. But I'm like, what if we write a song about it? And it's like Enchanted Hawk versus like Force Field or something weird.
Yeah.
And who knows? That might still come up, but I just couldn't fit it in this time. I was like, I tried it, and I was just like,
yeah,
I just don't know what else to write other than it smashed into the force field and died. Like,
so a little inside knowledge, I guess. Was it On the Backs of Giants? Was going to be that song?
Maybe.
I think it was On the Backs of Giants was going to be this song about a hawk, but it ended up being
a song about us riding two giants.
Yeah,
through like on their backs.
That's awesome.
It was literal. Yeah, it wasn't like on the backs of giants like how people say it in normal life.
Right.
That's kind of part of the joke, I guess.
But one thing we didn't mention is that every album that we had these interludes that kind of go in between the songs and tell the story, and that's still the same with this new album. So we're gonna have actually two different versions that we decided this time.
Right.
We're gonna have a story mode, that actually has all the interludes that add to the story. And then, what was the other mode called?
It's just it's not called anything. It's just Maelstrom of the Emerald Dragon. Okay. So the only place you can get the entire full experience is Bandcamp. Everywhere else will just be the music tracks. Mostly because just throughout getting analytics and stuff, it's, we see that people will listen to the interludes and it's cool, but even myself, we love doing them. It really makes the album what it is. But you've heard them a couple times and maybe you just want to listen to the music. So we've got this other version for you that is just the songs.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the thought behind that. And, we don't want to have someone see us for the first time. What's this band? Dethlehem? Okay, cool. What's this guy talking? I'm just going to turn it off immediately.
Yeah, that's fair.
So we opted to do it in two different ways, and we really tried to make it not confusing, and I hope it's not. But basically, if you buy the full version on Bandcamp with all the interludes and stuff, you'll get the version without them. I mean, basically, you just get the files. You could delete them anyway if you wanted, but we do have two versions for sale. If you're not into that aspect of it, we think the songs still hold up.
Yeah.
I personally really try to write the songs in a way that are about a specific thing, and then kind of the interludes tie it all together to make this cohesive story. Whereas if you just listen to it by itself, it's okay, this song is clearly just about a mimic or whatever, and I don't have to have any other context to really enjoy it as much.
Right. This is the first time we're doing something like that, and I think it's going to be really helpful because once I listened to the interludes once, I got the idea, and then I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to them a few times, and I think they're funny and stupid, and we get our friends to do it. We have I'm not sure if you're familiar with Danimal Cannon. He's I don't even know how you describe him.
He's a chiptune artist.
Yeah, he's a chiptune artist who plays guitar to his stuff, and he has Game Boys on his stage and stuff. We actually went on tour with him and became super good friends with him. And he's playing a wizard on the album, and then on the previous album, our friends in this band Eurazin were on it, and we have got our voice actress friend Bridget, who is the villain Veldros, who's the evil dark elf in the new album, and she did a killer job.
Yeah,
because none of us are really actors, even though we
as you could tell from our videos.
we dabble a little bit. I'll go on record and say that
I'm the worst actor. Yeah, I know.
No, I don't have to say that. All right, everyone just knows.
They call me the Tommy Wiseau of.
You're breaking my heart.
Yeah, we have old takes that we just didn't use on the album, and every once in a while we'll bring them up, and he's like, "I hate you guys. Why are you listening to that again?"
Yeah, I get made fun of a lot.
But I think our acting is the best it's ever been, even though it's getting better. We're definitely,
We're not actors.
We are not actors. I would say Bo Vice, aka Rick, is the best actor in the band, but none of us are very good at it.
Yeah, he's really fun. Yeah, any video that you see Bo Vice, he just kills it. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. Our listeners, you can pre-order now Maelstrom of the Emerald Dragon on Dethlehem.bandcamp.com. We'll make sure we link you there on the YouTube version of this broadcast. Make sure you check out their Facebook Live album release on 7/17. Trust me, even though you don't get the entire in-person physical experience, at least Dave and I can attest, you're not going to want to miss this. So, Dethlehem, guys, thanks. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to hold you to corralling you onto Twitch over sometime in the next 2 months during your album campaign to go and play a session with us. Get you back to the D&D roots. And for those of you out there, thanks for subscribing, clicking the follow button for Mighty Realm Games. Thanks for checking us out in whatever medium that you're enjoying this podcast. And make sure you go and support our good friends over in Dethlehem. And that's all for this session. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, guys.